Hi, I'm State Representative Ryan Mackenzie. Welcome to another episode of Legislative Report. Today, we're here at PBS 39. PBS 39 is a community-owned public television station licensed to Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton, serving eastern Pennsylvania and western New Jersey. PBS 39 is owned and operated by the Lehigh Valley Public Telecommunications Corporation. PBS 39 has the potential to reach 6 million viewers in the viewing area, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Tim Fallon, the CEO of PBS 39. Thanks for having us here, Tim.
Oh, this is great. I'm glad to have you guys here.
Yeah, well, why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about the history of PBS 39 and what it means to the community?
Sure. Well, PBS 39 is coming up on its 50th anniversary, serving the greater Lehigh Valley, all the way actually down to the Delaware border, into western Pennsylvania, and all the way through Berks County. And so we're a community licensee, and we are here for our community. And that means we are educational, inspirational, and entertainment for our greater community.
Absolutely, and you mentioned community. That is a big part of PBS 39. Tell us about some of the involvement in the community outside of the show or things that maybe people don't know about.
Well, thanks. Funny enough, you hit one of my favorite topics. PBS 39, as most public media stations are considered a convener of the community. And that means that we're here to help other entities be even better. And so just in the past year, we have been involved with entities such as Maker Faire, where we had 5,500 people here on the Steel Stacks campus to be involved in the first ever Maker Faire. We've been involved with our good friends at Justborn and Peeps Fest that was over the New Year's Eve holiday. And many, many other events. Matter of fact, something that you and I are involved with in early childhood education, where we're working with 3 or 4 other nonprofit organizations to really move the needle on something that's very important in our community. And that's what public media brings in convening the community.
Well, that's terrific. It sounds like you have a lot of great partnerships built up in the community. And on the different shows that you produce, how do you feature some of those different partners? What are some of the shows that you produce here locally and feature the local elements of our community?
Well, certainly. We have our weekly magazine show, Focus, which I believe you're taking a behind-the-scenes tour of today. And that's where we have the opportunity to bring to our more than 6 million potential viewers the stories of the great things that are going on here in our community. So whether it's focusing on our local hospitals, and we highlight all of the hospitals in our area, to the wonderful things that are happening with other nonprofit organizations, such as our good friends here at the Steel Stacks campus, Arts Quest. We have recently we just did a story on their Be More programming that they do as well. That's an opportunity that we have on a weekly basis to share those great stories of our community.
Great. Well, I know people in the community enjoy the programming that you offer. Now tell me something, how does your programming differ from other TV channels? How does PBS differ?
So we're not in the race to get advertisers and highest ratings for our advertisers. So we have wonderful folks that underwrite with us, that support our programs, but they do it partly because of the mission of public media. And to that end, we're able to provide content that isn't necessarily going to be the highest rated or the one that drives a certain demographic for an advertiser, but rather educates, inspires, and entertains in a way that most other networks don't. And we can look at the primetime lineups, and of course, Downton Abbey, everyone knows, but you can also look at Nova and programs that wouldn't necessarily draw the audience that an advertiser would want, but is very educational for our viewing audience. And that the viewing audience, by the way, is every American, because we are the only network that is available over the air, free of charge to every American that's educational.
Great. Well, this might be a tough question. It's like trying to pick your favorite child. Do you have a favorite show on PBS?
Oh, I'm not even going to get close to that. Other than I would say that the things that we produce locally are my favorite programs, because that's closest to me, it's closest to our community. So while I love everything that we have on in prime time, what we're able to do with our local programming is really what settles close to my heart.
Well, that's terrific. Now, I do want to ask a personal question. All the time, that I talk to, I'm always talking about career awareness and getting them involved and thinking about what they might like to do with their futures. How did you get involved with PBS?
So I've taken a somewhat circuitous route to this spot. In beginning part of my career, I was involved with a local company, Holiday Hair, in their finance area. And over the past 10 years, started a few companies and a bank locally. But throughout that time frame, I was a board member for PBS 39. And so I've been very engaged with this station for about 20 years now. And so when the opportunity came that I could step away from some of my private business to become engaged with this public entity, I saw that as an opportunity to do some good in the community, and I jumped on it. And I would highly suggest folks take that opportunity if it ever comes their way.
Terrific. Well, thank you for having us here, Tim. You're doing a great job of leading PBS 39 in our community, and we're grateful for all the programming that you do produce here locally. And now we're actually going to go take a look behind the scenes of Focus, and we're going to visit with Laura McHugh, the executive producer of Focus, and she's going to show us around. Thanks
Terrific.
again.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and being part of what we do here at PBS 39.
We're here in the green room joined by Laura McHugh, the executive producer of Focus. Thanks for joining us today, Laura.
Thanks for having us on Legislative Report.
Absolutely. So we're getting the behind-the-scenes tour of Focus.
That's right. We don't let a lot of people back into the green room while we're getting ready, but we'll make this exception for you.
Well, again, thank you. It's interesting. One of the things that we often do is like to talk to students about career awareness and getting them excited in different professions. So this is great to see the actual behind the scenes. Now tell me a little bit about how you got involved in Focus.
You know, it's interesting because a lot of people actually equate what we do with the green room. You know, you put your hair and makeup on and you go on TV. In fact, that's actually the smallest part of our job. What we really do is we tell stories, and we spend weeks and weeks preparing all of these stories that we tell on Focus. So I have a background in journalism, and one of our producers, Brittany Garzillo, who's getting ready as well, her background is in communications. Brittany's a recent graduate from Moravian College, and this is her first job out of school.
Yes, and it's fantastic. We love it here.
And I've actually been working in the media for 10 years now. I graduated from the University of Maryland in 2003 with a Bachelor of Arts degree and a concentration in broadcast journalism, and been working for about 5 years in commercial television before I came to PBS 39 in 2008.
Well, that's great, and clearly you're doing a very good job. You've won an Emmy already. Tell us a little bit about that segment that won you that award.
Thanks so much for mentioning that. It's one of my proudest achievements. The regional NATIS, National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, awarded our station and me, the editor, and the photographer who worked on a piece called Beyond the Bin in 2010, an Emmy Award. It is an honor every time you're nominated, but it feels really special to win. And that project's close to my heart because what we did was we followed a piece of recycling from the time that you throw it in that blue bin on your curb. We actually followed it all the way to its eventual reuse as a piece of plastic decking, kind of like Trex deck, but it's actually made locally. And so we followed that entire process, went through the plant, saw the plastic melted down, stretched out, and repurposed into a new use. So it's one of those things where we were truly able to show people something in their community that they had no idea was happening here.
All right, well that's exciting, and you have a lot more to show us though. Where do you want to head next?
Let's head over to the control room.
Sounds good. All right, Laura, well we're here in the control room and we're joined by one of your colleagues, Grover Silcox, a 3-time Emmy Award winner.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. It's good to have you here at our station. We're very proud of it. State of the art, you know, and I know you've seen some of it already, and now we're in the control room.
Well, it's a fantastic facility you have here, and some of the programming that you produce locally, like Focus, is just terrific for our community. You get to talk a lot about the things that are going on in our area. I had the pleasure of being on Focus a number of months ago where we talked about anti-bullying legislation. Tell me about some of the other segments that you focus on Focus.
Well, our tagline is Focus on What Matters. So we showcase the people, places, and issues that matter to you. And over the course of our first season, we featured more than 100 area businesses and organizations. And most of our stories fall into 5 main topics: health, community, arts, education, and public affairs.
Well, that's fantastic. Now, there are a lot of other shows that go on here at PBS 39. What are some of the other things that you get involved with, or some of the other shows that are produced here locally?
Scholastic Scrimmage is actually our longest running program. It's an academic challenge where students from almost 40 area high schools come in and go head to head in some of the toughest academic questions you can imagine. And I have to tell you that if they ever put those students up against
That's
the focus
right.
team. I'm embarrassed to admit that they probably would kick our butts.
They would put like the top Jeopardy contestants, they would challenge them. And a lot of these folks now, this has been going on for years, have gone into business and education and medicine and science, and they're some of the brightest people in the country.
Absolutely, and they, not to brag myself, I was a part of Scholastic Scrimmage when I was at Parkland High School, and so students do even go on to work in government as well.
Right.
But we're here in the control room now, so I want to talk a little bit about what actually takes place here and how it plays into what you do on Focus.
Well, normally, Ryan, they kick us out of here because we're in the studio, but during an actual taping, right where I'm standing is where the director sits. And this is the board that he uses, and all of these different buttons coordinate with different scenes that you might see on the program and preview monitors in front of us. And so the director is actually wearing a headset and communicating with camera operators in the studio, telling them, okay, Laura, get it, or telling the camera operators, Laura, we're getting a two-shot with you and Representative Mackenzie, or we're getting the single shot of Representative Mackenzie, or the single shot of Laura. And so they're literally calling the shots from right here in this seat. Behind where you're standing is where our graphics operator sits and controls all of the graphics and any boards and animations that you may actually see during the program. And then on the top level of the control room is where the teleprompter is. And so we don't memorize everything. We do ad-lib quite a bit, but we use teleprompter a little bit as well. And what a teleprompter is basically a mirror that reflects and you can see through the camera, and it shows the anchors and the hosts what they should be reading.
That's right. And this is like where the all-powerful Oz is, And the director obviously guides us through the show, and we take direction from him, or her, in this case, Tyler Glenn, our director. And, we're paying very close attention to what his calls are.
And we also wear earpieces in the studio so he can communicate with us directly.
Well, it's incredible to hear about all of the different people who are involved in making Focus a reality and getting it on TV. We want to go see some more of this, so where to next?
We'd love to take you in Studio B where we have a cooking set.
All right, sounds good. Let's head over there. Well, Laura, while Focus is your flagship show here at PBS 39, there are lots of other things that are going on, and we're here on a new set that you've built. Tell us a little bit about what you would showcase here.
Thank you. We are growing our local program base, and one of our new shows is called Superfoods, which features all the heart-healthy recipes you can imagine, and it's hosted by Chef Walter Stave out of Philadelphia. He's the proprietor of the Chefs of the City Tavern there, and so it's a really great way if you're interested in eating healthy and delicious. You can tune in to check out Superfoods right here, hosted right here on the set.
All right. Well, this is very exciting. Maybe you'll have to have me come back sometime and do a little cooking exhibition.
Well, I'll leave that to the chefs, but we would love to have you back.
All right. Well, we wanted to also see the site here at PBS 39. It's a unique site, and we're going to go outside, I think, and actually take a look at some of our surroundings now. Laura, when we were talking with Tim earlier, he told us how big a part of the community PBS 39 is. We all know it here in the Lehigh Valley, but look at this unique setting you're in. Tell us a little bit more about this.
Isn't it amazing? We opened here in 2011, right when the rebirth of the Bethlehem Steel property started. This is now called Steel Stacks, and we are so excited to be on the ground floor of what's going to be a wonderful arts and cultural center for South Bethlehem and the entire Lehigh Valley for many, many years to come.
Well, it's very exciting to see the rebirth of one of these sites where Bethlehem Steel used to be, and now it's turned into a great location for PBS 39. You're also involved in the community in lots of other ways. One of them is with education of young people. Tell us a little bit about what you do there.
Yeah, we open our studios to the entire community, and education, because it's so close to our hearts here at PBS 39, remains a big part of what we do on and off the air. So we open Focus. It is welcome to anybody who wants to come in from the community, but we do a lot of field trips. This season alone, we had more than 500 students come in, explore careers, and get to see a taping of the show together. We also do a Production U summer camp where high school students can come in and work with us during the summer to learn about the ins and outs of television production.
Well, that was really exciting. I could see when we passed one of the school tours how excited those students were to be here. So thank you again for that service to the community. I'm State Representative Ryan Mackenzie. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Legislative Report, and I hope you'll catch us again soon.
Did you know that there are 6 ornate bronze chandeliers hanging in the House chamber? The 4 large chandeliers are estimated to weigh 3 tons each. Yet these iron and brass fixtures, painted in 18-karat gold, manage to dangle effortlessly. It takes 168 light bulbs to light the large chandeliers and 84 light bulbs on each of the smaller chandeliers. As you can imagine, changing the light bulbs when they burn out is far from easy. Workers must build scaffolding in order to reach their 1,450 light bulbs. Today, special, long-life, low-wattage energy-saving bulbs are used to lessen the amount of times that the light bulbs will need to be replaced. Now you know.
Hi, I'm State Representative Ryan Mackenzie. Welcome to another episode of Legislative Report. Today we're here on site at St. Luke's West End Medical Center in South Whitehall Township. I'm joined by Jeff Kowalski, who's the building manager for St. Luke's West End Medical Center. Thanks for joining us, Jeff.
Thanks for coming, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, St. Luke's is one of the largest employers here in the Lehigh Valley. Thousands of employees at multiple locations. Tell us a little bit about the St. Luke's network.
St. Luke's right now employs over 9,000 employees, which we're very proud of. Right now we have presence in 2 states, 8 counties in Pennsylvania, 1 in New Jersey. We're standing outside of West End Medical Center, which is our newest and one of our biggest outpatient medical facilities.
Yeah, so it's 108,000 square feet of space. Had a long history, somewhat back and forth. There was the Builder Square, Pennsylvania Convention Center, so lots of different lives, but now we see that it's been brought back to life as West End Medical Center. Tell us about how you revitalized and reclaimed this property, which was vacant for many years.
Well, I think this property is a great example of private and state legislatures working together. We used the RCAP grant, $2.7 million to get this facility back. It's thriving, patient volumes are up. It's just a great combination of people working together for the state and the local community to ensure great quality health care for people.
Absolutely. Well, it's a beautiful facility. It has a lot of services to offer. So why don't we take a walk inside and you can tell us a little bit about more what patients can realize and utilize here.
Sounds great. I'd love to show you around.
All right, we're here inside, Jeff. It's a beautiful facility, like we said, outside, gorgeous on the inside as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the different services that are offered here?
It is. It looks great. We did a great job with this, I think. Right here, we're outside the radiology suite. We're a proud partner of GE, so we get their latest and greatest equipment delivered to our facilities first. So it's a great test site for the GE material. We're really proud to be a partner with them. Also inside the building, we have pain management. We have neurology that comes in that does assessments on patients. We have an OB suite where it's a private practice, so OB/GYN care is here. We also have St. Chris urgent care. We have a laboratory that takes blood specimens and things like that. You also have X-ray, radiology. We have our Care Now facility that's open 7:30 to 10:30, 7 days a week. That cares for patients that have minor bumps, bruises, sprains. Inside there, we do occupational medicine. So we take care of a vast array of patients all through the building. Coming into this building soon will be orthopedics. We'll also be dialysis, and we'll look at moving in women's imaging in the next year. So it's going to be a great opportunity to expand our services to the local community and increase the St. Luke's brand as we go forward.
Absolutely. So a huge amount of services that are offered here. What are the hours of operation for all of those locations?
Most service lines are open 7:30 to 10:30. That would be our Care Now facility, our radiology. Our lab is open 6:30 to 7 o'clock in the evening. Ultrasound we also have here. We do ultrasounds and vascular ultrasounds. That's open 10 to 6 Monday through Friday. Most of the private practices, the pain management, the neurology, and the OB/GYN, they're open more business office hours from Monday through Friday, about 9 to 6.
Great. And so how many people are employed here?
Inside this facility right now, we have about 50 to 60 people working in here. It's going to vary based on our volumes. Touch on our volumes, we have increased, we've gone past the volumes that we projected, which is really nice. So it's a great thing for St. Luke's, great thing for St. Luke's Allentown, and great thing for the actual facility.
Absolutely. Again, great reutilization of the space that was here, and we're glad to see so many patients coming in and already utilizing your services. One of the interesting things is a pediatric care unit here, and it's a partnership that you have with St. Christopher's Children's Hospital. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Proud partner with St. Chris. They opened in the summer of 2013 with us. They're also doing a very great service to the community. Board certified pediatric emergency physicians only are seeing their patients. We also have some specialty care with St. Chris over at our St. Luke's North building in Bethlehem. So our relationship with them continues to grow, and we're going to prosper together. But they're they're a great resource in the building as well.
Fantastic. And it's the first pediatric care unit in the area? Or?
It is.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Good. Well, we're glad that that's here. Now, you mentioned Care Now. That's one of the more active lines here at the West End Medical
Correct.
Center. So why don't we go check that out?
Sounds good.
All right, Jeff, we're inside St. Luke's Care Now. It's the walk-in urgent care portion of this facility. And we're joined by Dr. Robert Delansky, who's the network director for urgent care here at the facility. Dr. Delansky, tell us a little bit about your background and profession. I always hear from students in our community about their interest in going into certain fields. Sometimes they're interested in the medical field. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into the position you're in.
Sure. After medical school, I came to the Lehigh Valley and did my training in family medicine. Throughout the years, I've been doing a little bit of work on the side in the urgent care world. And a year ago, they asked me to move into this full time, and it was a great fit for me. So I made the jump, and it's been a great pleasure working in this field.
What types of patient care do you offer here, and do you see most coming in?
Well, just what Jeff mentioned, but oftentimes we have kids who get sick in school. Mom or dad call their family doctor. They can't get them in right away, so they bring them here. So we'll see them for coughs, colds, bumps, bruises, minor laceration repairs, a lot of sports injuries.
Okay, and do the patients have to be a part of a network, or can they just walk in on their own?
No, they can walk in on their own.
Okay, well that's a huge benefit for our community. And have you seen, what's the response been like from patients? Do they prefer this setting? Or?
It's been a very positive response because the family doctors are getting much busier and harder to get into. And we are very convenient as far as hours go. We do also offer a small line of generic prescriptions, so the patients can possibly get their prescription while they're here and they don't have to make another trip to the pharmacy.
Jeff, what do you think has really been the benefit to this for St. Luke's as a network in the larger picture here?
I think it's just putting our brand more and more in the local community, giving great care, easy access to make people have quality health care from our organization. Customer service is outstanding. One of our benchmarks of who we are is our customer service, and this facility and this service line has been a great example of our customer service and our commitment to patient care.
Great. And so is this a trend that you see St. Luke's going into more of these facilities, the Care Now facilities?
That is very true. We are looking to expand the St. Luke's Care Now brand into all of our markets, and I think that's going to be happening over the next 12 to 18 months where you see more facilities of St. Luke's Care Now popping up in neighborhoods near everybody.
Great, great. And as you mentioned, huge demand for it throughout the community, so obviously something that you're looking to do more of, so that's good. Good. In addition to all of the medical services offered here at St. Luke's West End Medical Center, there's also a healthcare facility right here. And so right now I'm joined by John Graham. He is the director of the Sports and Human Performance Center. John, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Representative Mackenzie. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Well, why don't you start out by just telling us a little bit about the facility?
Sure. Well, the really amazing part about this facility is our leadership here at St. Luke's wanted to develop a facility that really served our community in a comprehensive manner. And when I say that, meet the fitness needs of everyone. So our administration came to me and said, what are we going to do to serve the needs from the youth all the way up into the senior population, and from very low levels of fitness to very high levels of fitness? So we went and partnered with some very prominent national organizations like Life Fitness and Perform Better, and developed a facility that we feel accommodates the needs of every clientele who might be interested in fitness programming. So our programs actually serve the youth population, we serve the general fitness population, we serve the medical fitness population, which is individuals that have chronic disease and disabilities, which now affects 50% of our population approximately. Wow. And then in addition to that, we focus on our senior population as well as our elite fitness population. So it really becomes a melting pot of fitness when you come in here on a day-to-day basis, because you'll see someone who's very highly fit to someone who may be using breathing devices to get through their exercise program. But everybody has those goals and objectives of how they want to improve their level of health and well-being.
Yeah, that's great. And the facility's been recognized with some awards recently, isn't that correct?
Correct. Both Perform Better and Life Fitness recognize us as national training centers. And we've actually appeared on front covers of fitness catalogs as well as fitness calendars. So our facility has really gotten a lot of national recognition in a very short period of time.
Well, that's fantastic. You've been open about a year now?
Since November of 2013.
Great. Well, we're glad you're here in the community. And why don't we take a walk around and you can tell us a little bit more about the facility here.
The way the facility was designed was when we put it together, we wanted to really kind of set up the facility in such a way that people could progress in levels of exercise intensity. So at the start of our facility, at this end, we start out with our cardiovascular training equipment. So we have our treadmills, our bikes, our elliptical trainers, but we also have things that are unique, like new step trainers, which allow people who may not be ambulatory to use a piece of equipment that incorporates their upper and lower extremity. So a good example would be someone who has multiple sclerosis, who has difficulty functioning or ambulating correctly, can get on a new step and really get a beneficial effect, not only with their upper extremity, but even their lower extremity, which may be debilitated by the course of their chronic disease or disability. And then as you walk to this end of the facility, you start to get into our strength training area, which we use everything from selectorized equipment to plate-loaded equipment, down to our freeway training equipment. And the idea being is that our selectorized equipment allows people to safely exercise and use resistance training equipment without having to worry about balance and stabilization. But then our plate-loaded equipment allows them to individualize different parts of their body so that we can selectorize or utilize pieces of equipment that allow them to get the maximum benefit out of their training program.
Wow.
And the other benefit is that our staff really takes a personalized approach with every client that comes in. So when a client joins our facility, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to assess their level of fitness. We have 7 different fitness testing batteries that we're going to implement for them. So everything from a youth fitness testing battery all the way up to an elite level fitness client to a sports client will have a specific testing battery.
It seems like you're really a lot more involved with the health science of exercising here than some other facilities. Is that one of the key differentiating points?
Well, one of the things, and I go back to what our administration was looking for, is we wanted to develop something where we could use outcomes measurements as a tool. Everything in medicine is about outcomes and getting good results and getting good quality care for their patients. So our hospital system said we need to do the same thing in our preventative departments as much as we do in our clinical departments and our acute and chronic care departments. So our fitness programs really focus on the same mantra and the same philosophy from a mission and vision standpoint as our hospital system does. We want to get good outcomes for our clientele. So when you come to our fitness center, our goal is to help you to improve your BMI, help you to improve your body composition, drop your blood pressure, improve your heart rate, help you to drop your cholesterol levels and things along that line, as well as enhance your overall fitness and improve the aesthetic qualities that a lot of people associate with an improved fitness level, like losing body weight and changing your sizes on your clothes and things along that line.
Great. Well, I see you have some facilities for some classes and some workout.
We have a group exercise classroom that allows not only a changing in temperature based on the type of class. So if we have a yoga class, we may want it to be a little warmer than we want for spin classes. But we also have lighting controls in there as well, so we can control the mood of the room as well. Some classes, they like it very bright, a lot of lighting. Some classes like it a little bit toned down, so we'll actually drop the lighting based on the type of class that's in there at any given time.
All right. Well, this is a very interesting part of the facility. It's the sports performance area.
Well,
Tell us a little bit about this.
The facility is designed so that, as you can see, our control desk sits right in the middle of the floor, so our staff can manage both sides of the floor. But as you come down to our turf area, we have a 60-yard turf surface. And everybody said, why did you pick 60 yards as the surface area? Well, a lot of the sports teams that we work with, the kids have to be able to get tested in a 40-yard dash. So because, once again, we're focusing on outcomes measurements, we wanted to be able to measure 40-yard dashes.
Sure.
So a lot of sports performance training areas that you'll go into, they don't have this much turf space because they don't worry about necessarily measuring a 40. Well, if a 40 is what a kid's going to get measured in, we need to be able to test them and measure that.
All right, well, I'm going to ask, how fast can you run the 40?
Well, I haven't ran them in a long time.
Okay.
So, not sure at this point in my stage, but in my younger days, I was able to do pretty well being a football player at the college level and things.
Great.
But our fitness center is when you get into our sports performance area, we set this facility up so that we could accommodate teams. And we had teams here in the winter months that had as many as 40 or 50 participants at a time using this facility all at the same time. And that's really important to us because we want to be able to bring people together and train them as a group as opposed to just having them come in and do one-on-one workouts. And the coaches like it because obviously they can bring all their teammates, all their teams in at the same time.
So you're training some fantastic athletes and some future superstars right here. We're glad that you were able to show us around today, John. Really appreciate the opportunity. So I want to thank you for that and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Representative Mackenzie.
All right, and thank you to all of the viewers at home for joining us again on an episode of Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Ryan Mackenzie, and we'll see you again on another episode of Legislative Report.